In progress.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Prife International's iTeraCare product presentation. It is 8 p.m. here in Malaysia. I am not sure where you guys are dialing in from, so let me know. Drop it in the chat. If you guys are coming in here for the first time, do let me know. It is my pleasure to welcome all of you here in Prive International's iTeraCare product presentation. Now, I'm stepping into some pretty big shoes here. I am representing Mr. Nathan, our Global Chief Training Officer, who usually does this Zoom along with his wife, Miss Faithlin, and neither of them were able to make it today. So they asked me to step in, and I hope to be able to provide you guys with a good explanation and a pretty consistent understanding on what the iTeraCare device is, how it works, how it functions within your body, what it does to your body, and also at the same time, how you can use it to benefit yourself. And we're also going to look at the stories that some people have shared with us about how this product and this device benefits other people. And yes, I'm very excited to be here with all of you. In case you're wondering if, in case you've heard me before and you're wondering if I sound a little different, yes, I have lost a little bit of my voice. Us in Prive International just came back from a company team building activity where, while we had a lot of fun, there was also a lot of cheering going on, and I am doing the best with the voice that I have. So, once again, welcome, welcome, welcome to all of you. Do drop me a message in the chat. Let me know where you guys are dialing in from, where you guys are from, how it is where you are right now. And I'm gonna give a couple more minutes for people to drop into the meeting. And until then, hi Samuel. So nice of you to drop in. Samuel from Ghana is here. I see a few people here. Some people I know, some people I don't. And if just drop me a message in the chat, let me know where you're dialing in from. Or if it's your first time in this call and you're pretty shy to like say anything, you can just like drop a one in the chat as well. It would be a lot of fun if this was a little bit more interactive. And as we wait for more people to join in our chat, I'm going to go ahead and start with our product presentation. Let me start sharing my slides. Hello, Habib Siahmar from Mandaluyong, Philippines. So nice of you to join us. If you just gotten into the call, do drop us a message in the chat. Let us know where you're from. I'm pretty happy to have all of you here. Prive International, with the iTeraCare, has a really global presence and a global reach. The iTeraCare device has reached all the continents in the world. Hi, Linda Anthony from Malacca. Nice to see you here. As I was saying, the iTeraCare device has reached every continent in the world, and we have, through this device, been able to create such a positive impact in the lives of many people who have been facing all kinds of things that we're going to talk about today. So, as I was saying, let me get to my presentation and we'll go through it one by one. So, welcome to Prive International's iTeraCare product presentation. And I suppose it is fair that before I start, I do start off with a disclaimer. And this disclaimer could be obvious for those of you who know the iTeraCare, but in case you're new here, this is not a medical device. This was never designed to be a medical device. This device follows therapeutic principles that I'm going to talk about shortly. This is very much a therapeutic device. It is a certified household electrical equipment that is certified as safe to use, does not emit any harmful radiation, and is certified to be distributed internationally. This is not a medical device. The manufacturer provides no medical advice. I do not provide medical advice, and this may not come as a surprise to many of you. I am also not a doctor. But you don't need to be a doctor to understand how this device works. And I'm going to talk about this device while staying as close as I can to the fields of biology and referring to as many papers as I could as we get into this exploration of the iTeraCare device together. If you are currently diagnosed with an illness or if you're on medication, do not stop your medication. Your medication should only be stopped by your doctor. Instead, you can learn to use this device in a therapeutic way and through the changes in your health that occurs from using this therapeutic device, you will be able to talk to your doctor about all of that. So, as I've made it very clear, I'm not a doctor. This is not a medical device and I'm not here to provide medical advice. This is a therapeutic device that follows certain therapeutic principles. Now let's look at what I mean about that. So this is this is a this is an idea that there is a secret healing system in our body that nobody is talking about. And maybe it's not accurate to say that nobody is talking about it, given that we're talking about it and people around the world, not just associated with Prive, are talking about it. And what they're talking about is that within the human body, there is a capacity for the human body to heal itself. And before the age of modern medicine, people did not rely on medical advice or doctors. If you look at it, I mean, let's think about it from a historical perspective here. Modern civilization started approximately at the end of the last ice age, around 10,000 years ago. Human beings, or Homo sapiens sapiens, our species, have been living in tribes, documented to be living in tribes for at least 70 to 120,000 years. Human beings, before they lived in modern civilization, were people who were hunter gatherers. What changed in civilization? What did civilization bring about? Well, civilization brought about the age of agriculture, where in the past, all human beings, this physical body, was conditioned to running actively every day. In fact, in the our niche in the animal kingdom as humans is that we have capacity to run marathon distances and to cooperate and take turns without getting tired. That's how we hunted large game. We simply outran them until they got tired. Animals could run in fast bursts of speed, but they get tired very quickly. The human body has the capacity to be in a continuously active motion, to be continuously running, as we see even today in modern times when you look at marathon runners. But at some point when we discovered agriculture and lifestyle became more sedentary, and by sedentary, I mean people just settled in one place, became farmers, didn't move as much. And that was something that is seen a lot more in this modern age, where most people use the same human body that used to run across the savannah and they plop it on a chair. They wake up in a bed, they plop in a chair in their car going to work, they plop in a chair at work working all day, they plop in a chair after work to go to the mall and they plop in a chair to watch a movie and they plop in a chair to eat and they come home and they plop in bed. The human body that was designed to keep continuous motion, to keep moving, no longer does that. And as a result of that, people have started to fall sick. Now, what is the connection between illness and motion? So let's look at some statistics. I'm a numbers guy. I like my numbers. And if you look at the world's leading cause of death, all the leading causes of death in the modern age is diseases that are caused by a lack of proper blood flow. What is heart disease? So in the fats in the food that we eat, the medium chain and the long chain triglycerides, they're absorbed into our body through the fatty food that we eat. And the problem with those is that they're long chains of fat, right? So as they're in our blood, they start to accumulate on the sides of the arteries, or they're in our blood or they're in our blood flow, grabbing onto our red blood cells, holding them together, forming long lumps, forming blockages in our blood flow. And if those blockages end up being a complete block in in our cardiac region, in and around our heart, it is basically someone suffering from a heart attack. And if that blockage of blood happens in our brain area, and you have a complete block of blood flow in the brain leading to your brain cells dying, that's a stroke. So we know what happens when our blood flow is completely blocked. And the blockages in our blood flow come from lifestyle factors, the fat in the food that we eat, the sugar in the foods that we eat, our lifestyle becoming sedentary and us not moving. Because remember, when you move your body, when you move your muscles with the contraction and expansion of your muscle fibers, that is what gets your blood to flow. And we know what happens when the blood stops flowing. We get a heart attack, we get a stroke, we get problems associated with that. But not everyone in the world are lucky enough to have a complete blockage in their flow. And what do I mean by that? What I mean by that is a lot of people, due to the lifestyle of the modern age, due to the sedentary nature of our lives, our jobs, our work, our everything, we don't have like 100% block. We may have like a 10% block. So we have fat accumulating in our blood vessels. We have the sugars in the food that we eat, getting our red blood cells to be stuck together into long chains, which we, at least in Asia, colloquially call as your blood getting thick. And all of these are caused by our lifestyle. And even if they do not add up to 100% blockage in your blood flow, it's still like 5%, 6%, 7%. Not all of your cells start dying, but some of your cells start dying. Your cells are not getting the oxygen that they need because the red blood cells that carry your hemoglobin, that carry oxygen to all of your cells, a bunch of them are now stuck together, forming long chains because of the sugars and the fat in the food that we eat and our lifestyle of less motion. So a lot of people have small blocks, small blocks, small blocks, small blocks that result in the general feeling of malaise and ill health. We start feeling weak. We don't feel as energetic as we used to be. We start feeling low. And if you think about it, it is an accepted idea in all of history that the human body's natural healing force within each one of us is the greatest force in getting well, as said by Hippocrates, or even various ideas that the human body can heal by thought alone. The human body has capacity of self-healing. And we may not, people in the past may not have known how this works. They may not know the exact mechanisms of your blood flow, of your red blood cells being stuck together, therefore not transporting oxygen. Even back before we knew of the existence of something like oxygen, even before we had a scientific understanding of the human body, ancient medicine men, the healers of the past, still were able to heal members of their tribe using concepts that modern medicine may not acknowledge as medicine, but still have a therapeutic effect on the body. Whether they use energy or plants or chanting or rhythmic drumming or like if you're interested in Asian cultures as much as I am, healing has always had a focus on sound and frequency and energy, whether through humming, whether through prayer, whether through the, I mean, in Hindu concept you have the repetitive chanting of the word om that is supposed to engage your body in a certain frequency. You have rhythmic drumming that is common across various cultures. Ancient medicine men, ancient healers, ancient tribal healers use energy and plants to heal the human body. They may not know the mechanism by which it works, therefore they call it the greatest secret. But one of the advantages of us looking at this from the perspective of science is that we have started to understand from a biological perspective how the human body's natural healing capacity engages itself. Before we go into that, let's look at all forms of ancient healing, so to speak. Let's look at all forms of traditional healing. I mean, even like this whole Western medicine, pop a pill, get some surgery based ideas are very much the result of consumerism and profiteering in the medical world. I'm not disparaging the incredible value that modern medicine provides, because if you've been in a car accident and you've like broken your leg, or if you have like a gaping wound in your body, something severe, then yeah, you're gonna want to go to a medical surgeon and not an acupuncturist. But most people in the world do not have extreme problems like that. Most people in the world are having a breakdown of their general health capacity due to their lifestyle. And all forms of ancient healing, whether it is movement via Tai Chi or via yoga, or even through running or like physical exercise, whether it's through massage, Ayurvedic massage, reflexology, or whether it's through acupuncture, whatever therapeutic modality people have used in the past in order to heal the human body, all of this has one specific function in the human body, in that it improves blood flow. Whether you improve your blood flow by physically manipulating your body and moving it and stretching it in a non-stressful way on your body through movements like Tai Chi or Qigong, or even through yoga, if you want to look at like Indian concepts, or through reflexology, Ayurvedic massage, even drinking hot drinks like tea, even whatever acupuncture, whatever therapeutic modality ancient healers used, all of these modalities share one thing in common, is that they all have an effect of improving the blood flow in our body. And we're starting to see like, and this is not an idea that is foreign to like Western science or medicine. The influence of tissue oxygen on wound healing and the availability of oxygen to cells into the wound area and the presence of adequate blood flow as important factors to the healing process is something that is proven without a doubt. And this is just one of many papers I found exploring this concept on PubMed. So the human body is a biological machine that depends on a constant flow of blood in order for it to function optimally. The human body's breakdowns occur from, or rather the lack of health that most people in the modern age are facing, are usually caused by by lifestyle and by reduced motion, and that leading to uh, a degradation in your blood flow. And all ancient forms of healing have, whatever modality they use, whatever words they describe to talk about what they do, they all have the function of getting the blood flow in our body to improve. All right, that is the first idea. Now I want to talk about another idea, and then I'm going to string all of these different ideas together, and I think you're going to get where I'm coming from. So let's look at this idea. Everything is energy. I mean, Serge Benhayon and many other energy people have talked about how everything is energy. Therefore, everything is because of energy. And maybe as a younger Mugi, I'm 36 now. I have a background in like science and aerospace engineering. And as a younger Mugi, I would have put all of this down as hippie claptrap. Oh, everything is energy. Ooh, energy, right? But with a deeper understanding of science and the principles that are behind all forms of life, it is actually true that energy is a building block of matter. I mean, this is something all of us may subconsciously understand. Like all of us have heard the famous equation by Einstein, right? E equals mc squared. Now, what does that equation actually mean? It means that E, energy, is equal to mass, matter, any kind of matter, is equal to mass that has been accelerated to the speed of light. And since equations are reversible, it follows then logically that that energy slowed down is what becomes mass. Mass and energy are intertwined, and this is no longer a concept that can just be dismissed as I said earlier, hippie claptrap. This is an idea that is behind fundamental understandings of science and how the universe works. And energy is a building block of matter. And if you think about it, the human body, that we are energy beings, we are made of cells, but what are those cells made of? Atoms. And it is our current modern up to date understanding in quantum physics and in the nature of like reality itself that as you get deeper and deeper and deeper into like Planck scales, into like scales so small that they cannot be seen by the naked eye, you actually all forms of matter are just forms of waves and energy. And what we see right now as matter is just when you zoom in close enough, it's just energy. We are made of energy. Everything is made of energy from a very solid scientific perspective. And the human body is an energy field. So, how does this play a role in our lives? So, when we talk about energy, we also have to talk about vibration. And I don't know how much you guys have explored the crazy concepts being seriously understood within quantum physics and within string theory, for example. But one of the most solid understandings of why anything exists, why there's mass, like anything solid is just essentially vibrating strings in multiple dimensions. And if I were to have a beer in my hand when I'm saying this, you may think I'm drunk, but this is actually how most scientists who see the world from a string theory perspective would describe the world. But even without looking into such deep ideas, right? Think about it this way: every single cell is made out of like a proton and a neutron, that middle bit with a bunch of electrons going on inside it. What you can see as a solid surface, as the surface of the table, as the surface of this phone, what you may see as a solid surface in atomic scales is actually just vibrating fuzzy bits next to each other. Everything is vibrating, and this is the concept that we are going to explore a little bit. So the first explorations looking into energy and frequency, and the first understanding that there could be things that we cannot see that have actual physical nature even though we cannot see them. The study of frequency was started off by the musicians who were exploring how different musical notes and frequencies played with each other. The video that I'm about to show you is something called a Chalney play. And what this does is that just by sprinkling some sand or some salt on a plate that is vibrating in specific frequencies, you can see that frequencies are encoded with certain shapes. Now, this is not a shape that you can see without assistance. But just because you can't see it, just because the human body's sensors cannot sense it, it doesn't mean that it is not real. You can see it indirectly when you use, for example, something like a Chalney plate like this, and you vibrate this plate at certain specific frequencies. You see that each frequency is carries within it information about certain shapes. And this was the start of the idea that really started looking into what are the effects of frequencies and energy and on life, on reality, and especially on biology. And it is from here that we have come into the understandings where this is a paper from September 2003. It's a NASA paper exploring how PEMF, electromagnetic fields, increased cellular growth and gene proliferation. And if PEMF sounds familiar to you, that is what the iTeraBio device puts out. But we're not here to talk about the iTeraBio, but I'm just mentioning it in case you're like, I've heard of PEMF somewhere before. That's where you've heard of it. Research into electromagnetic fields and the effect on biology. This is a paper from September 2003, which is 20 years ago. And but these ideas are actually a lot older than that. A lot of you may have seen this video. I'm not the biggest fan of playing it because it's kind of long, but maybe I can
So we
kill
searched the
the
US
volume
patent
a bit.
database.
Maybe I can kill the volume a little bit so I can talk over it and you guys can read the words. So this is a research by Dr. Anthony Holland that discovered that even cancer cells denature themselves when exposed to certain specific frequencies. So we've come from the understanding of frequencies having information that can be encoded without being able, without without unassisted detection. We've explored the idea that frequencies and energy can have health effects on the human body from the NASA paper. And this video is something you guys can find online on YouTube as well. We've also found that exposure to certain specific frequency can denature unhealthy cells in our body. So more understanding of this idea, I'm just going to walk through a few more examples. This is the Institute of Cancer Research in London that has been looking at using sound waves to heat treat cancer pain. And I've not yet come to talking about our iTeraCare device. We're just exploring ideas of how different frequencies can have maybe sometimes surprising effects on the biology of the human body. These are ideas that have been explored for a long time. Nikola Tesla has often spoken about the secrets of the universe in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. I was reading about this book. It's a little bit off topic, but not really. Because when you talk about energy, frequency, and vibration in terms of the secrets of the universe, in terms of healing effects, I always tend to think about sound baths and sound bowls.
Wala
Um,
na but
I'm gonna mute you, and I may allow you guys to unmute yourselves afterwards for questions. But right now, I'm gonna go through it with this presentation. So, as I was saying, sound baths, sound bowls. I don't know how many of you have had experience in going into sound healing. It's something that I personally, as a human being, really enjoy, and it's just the idea that you can use specific frequencies and specific vibrations in a way that can have a biological effect on your body, have a biological effect on your headspace. And as I was saying, I was reading this book about one of the early explorers who was one of the first people to go to Tibet, I think in the 1800s, one of the first explorers back when Tibet was completely like unexplored for hundreds or thousands of years with zero outside influence. And he wrote about how he witnessed monks use vibrations by using sound bowls set at a certain distance at specific frequencies to lift the heavy blocks just by the power of the vibration and the energy and the frequency to lift heavy blocks and build the temples that you see on top of the mountains in Tibet and Lhasa and in Nepal and in some of these like really remote places. So the secrets of the universe can be found in energy, frequency, and vibration, and only really explored by those who take these ideas seriously and credibly. And when we talk about vibration, we need to talk about resonant vibration. And I'm sure a lot of you have seen this video or some iteration of this video. And I'm going to talk about what it is and why I'm showing it here. So the device that you see on screen, this is a tuning fork. Tuning forks are devices that are exposed, that are tuned to certain specific frequencies. So as you see here, this guy's holding a tuning fork that's tuned at 512 hertz. And over here is a tuning fork not physically connected to the other tuning fork that's tuned at 440 hertz. Now, we're going to watch him hit the one tuning fork and see nothing happen. So, wait, that's not what I meant to do. Okay. So here's the thing. When he's hitting that tuning fork, he's actually hitting it, right? The tuning fork is vibrating. Its vibration is causing the air molecules around it to vibrate. There is kinetic energy that is being sent out by the first tuning fork. The thing is, while the air around the second tuning fork are also vibrating from the kinetic energy, the second tuning fork isn't able to make use of that energy because that energy is coming at the wrong frequency. Now let's watch this again. It's a very short video, but we're going to watch it in full. So he's hitting the first tuning fork. Nothing's happening on the other tuning fork, even though air molecules are vibrating. Now he's hitting another tuning fork that's tuned to the same frequency as the second one. And when he hits it, the air the air molecules, there's kinetic energy. The air molecules are vibrating just like it did on the first one. But now, because the energy that's being sent out is at the same frequency of the other tuning fork, the other tuning fork is able to make use of that energy. Now, what does that have to do with our device? And now we're coming into it. So, our device, as I will speak about a little bit later, can be considered a handheld terahertz emitter. Why terahertz? Why that specific frequency? I'm going to talk about what that frequency is later, but why terahertz frequency? Because we say that our cells resonate to terahertz frequency, that the board, as you see on this slide, terahertz resonates at the same frequency as normal human cells, and therefore, by using a handheld terahertz emitter on the human body that is tuned to the terahertz frequency, the body can make use of the energy being emitted by this device because it is in the same resonant frequency as our body. Now, if you're a skeptical person, you're going to raise your eyebrows a little bit. You're going to be like, that is a wild claim. Can you prove that? Now, in order to answer the same question, I've been looking into it. So, one of the first concepts I found is the concept of cellular voltage. And not talking about cells, let's talk about your everyday battery, like your everyday wet battery. How does the battery work? The battery work because there's a difference in potential between the ionic liquid within the two parts of the battery, and it is the difference in potential between those two environments that allows ions to travel through the membrane, separating them, thus generating electricity. Now, in much the same way, we have an ionic environment inside our cell, and we have an ionic environment outside our cells. And there is a difference in potential between these two environments, and this can be measured as a certain amount of charge or voltage that your body can hold. And this is referred to as cellular voltage. This is another video that I'm not gonna play. Maybe I'll just play it in the background as I'm talking. But you guys can like look up this concept, just like Google cellular voltage, and it talks about how the human body has a certain specific voltage that can be measured, and you can measure differences in this voltage corresponding to the states of human health. Where if you are healthy or if you're just in a good vibe, when you're feeling good physically and you're also feeling good mentally. You look at the world and you see happy, you're in a good space, you're in a good vibe. If you measure your cellular voltage at that time, it's going to be a higher voltage, and if you measure the cellular voltage at a time when you're sick, it's going to be in a lower voltage. So the human bodies, our cells can carry a certain amount of charge, and the measurement of that charge corresponds to the measurements in how we're feeling in a physiological way, both in terms of our body and in our headspace. That's thing number one. The thing number two, when I started to look at applications of terahertz frequency, I realized that terahertz frequencies, like terahertz technology, has been used in imaging since I would say about the 2000s, where since the terahertz frequency is non-ionizing, since it is able to penetrate through anything but is absorbed only by water and therefore is absorbed by the water in our cells and in our body, which is what 70-80% water. So terahertz frequencies have been used for imaging work. Like they use them in security scanners in airports because they don't damage the human body, they don't ionize our cells. But research into terahertz technology and its biomedical applications is something that's relatively new. Most of the major papers on this topic came out of China because China in the mid 2010s was leading the research into the effects of terahertz frequencies on the human body. This is a paper I found that came out of Xinjiang Medical College and Yangtze University in China that talks about the biological effects of terahertz. And I just want to draw your attention to the first sentence here, where in terms of the terahertz influence on biomolecules, the vibrational levels of many biomolecules, such as sugars, proteins, DNA, RNA, are in the range of the terahertz wave band. Okay. And some people may be skeptical of papers coming out of China, and it could be for valid reasons. I mean, China did have this huge scandal in terms of papers being written that could not be duplicated, etc. So when looking a little further, and this is a paper I found from PubMed that came out of the Journal of Lasers in Medical Sciences, which, by the way, just off topic, is such a cool title, the Journal of Lasers in Medical Sciences. I think it's cool. I am a child. But this paper is titled A Review of Feasible Applications of Terahertz Waves in Medical Diagnostics and Treatments. And this paper is a review paper, right? So what they did is that they looked at all the reports that came out in that year, and this is a paper that came out at the end of 2021. So they reviewed all the papers that came out on the practical applications of terahertz radiation on diagnostic, biosensing, and clinical treatments. The first things that they looked about is what I spoke about earlier, which was using terahertz for imaging, where and therefore, and I'm quoting here, the review includes the diagnosis of breast, skin, mouth, cervical, lung, small intestines, prostate, colon, and stomach cancers, evaluation of biomolecules, detection of genetic mutations, determination of burn depth, and so on. And once again, I want to interject here and clarify that this is not a paper that looked at Price's iTeraCare. They probably have no idea that iTeraCare exists. This is just a paper that is looking at the effects of the terahertz frequency on the human body. What I'm reading out here are not claims I'm making about our device, but I'm simply reading a paper that is talking about the effects of the terahertz frequency on biology. So the first thing the paper looked at was the was using terahertz frequency to diagnose various things, including emotional psychological states, which I found very interesting, which I think corresponds with what I was exploring earlier about low cellular voltage, like maybe not a symptom. It could be a chicken and egg thing, but and correlation does not equate causation, as we all know. But low cellular voltage does seem to correspond at least to low emotional psychological states and so on. But anyway, then the paper looks at embracing the use of terahertz therapy in reducing the size of the tumor, treating skin cancer, healing burn wounds, cardiovascular disease, corneal epithelium, etc. And the review emphasizes the capabilities of terahertz waves as a novel tool for future clinical diagnostics and treatments. I mean, I looked at more papers. There's a whole bunch you can go look at. This came from Military Medical Research paper, Military Medical Research Journal, that looked at the effect of terahertz waves on biomolecules. And I just want to bring attention to the second sentence over here, where it says that the rotation and vibrational energy levels of biomacromolecules fall in the energy range of terahertz waves. Thus, terahertz waves can hardly might interact with biomolecules. Sorry, I just noticed a couple of comments in the chat that you guys can hardly hear me. Can I just make sure that you guys can hear me? Could I get some input from other people if it's a thing with them or if I need to speak up, just in case I'm going to start speaking up? Thanks, Gilan. I'm happy that you guys can hear me okay. If you seem to have trouble hearing me, maybe try to like up the volume. I hope that helps. Thanks, guys, for commenting. Thanks, Samuel. Appreciate it. All right. So going back to this paper, Military Medical Research, sentence number two. The rotation and vibrational energy levels of biomacromolecules fall in the energy range of terahertz waves. And this is a paper from 2021. There's more papers. This is a paper I found from, when was this? From 2021 as well, using terahertz modulated infrared ray radiation in the complex treatment of patients in the acute period of ischemic stroke. Or this one that came out in 2021 as well, that looked at terahertz radiation in the skin. This one is a bit earlier from 2017 that looked at the recent advances in terahertz technology for biomedical applications. And this sentence I thought was cute because they seem to kind of like Nostradamus style predict Price International and the iTeraCare, where terahertz systems can now be operated by non-terahertz experts, greatly facilitating research into many potential applications. And now we come to our product presentation. What is the Prive International iTeraCare? And this convoluted sentence of it being the world's most advanced terahertz quantum light wave therapy device, what this essentially means is that this device emits terahertz frequency. This is a terahertz emitter. Now, why are we using a terahertz emitter? And again, now I'm going to go to our disclaimer, and maybe this would give you a fuller understanding on what I spoke about in the beginning. What is the effect that you accomplish with using terahertz frequency on the human body? Let's look at it step by step. So when you use this device or the classic or the pro, it's not plugged in, so it's not making noise. Um, when you use the device on the human body, what you are doing is that you're using terahertz, you're using a terahertz emitter to send out terahertz frequency into the human body. Now, if the terahertz frequency was a different frequency from the human body, then because it is not a resonant frequency, it would not have any effect. But the reason why we specifically use terahertz frequency is because from all the papers that I've seen, it shows quite clearly that the human body resonates at or to terahertz frequency. And from the concept of resonant frequency, where if you have two tuning forks that are tuned to different frequencies, even though there's kinetic energy, there's no energy transfer. But if you use two tuning forks with the same frequency, through the concept of resonant frequency, one tuning fork can absorb and use the energy being emitted by the other tuning fork of the same frequency. Now, the human body being attuned to terahertz frequency or responding to terahertz frequency, when you use a terahertz emitter on the human body, that energy, that terahertz energy, is able to be absorbed and used by the human body. And what does it do? And what does it do in the human body? From a biological perspective, terahertz frequency is absorbed by water. Our body is mostly water, our cells are made of water. And when it is absorbed by the water in our cells, when it is absorbed by our blood and our blood flow and all of that, it directly has the effect of increasing the cellular voltage of all of our cells, of the cells that it is being, of the cells that are in range of that terahertz frequency. Now, when you increase the energy level of each cell, when you increase the cellular voltage, and therefore you have an increase in energy of the cells, how is the energy expressed? That energy is expressed through higher vibration of all of our cells. Now, the problem with our sedentary lifestyle is that because of the fats in our food and the sugars in our food and us sitting down and not moving around all the time, we're not moving our muscles, we're not having proper blood flow in our body. So as a result, for a lot of people, their red blood cells are stuck together by the sugars and the fats in our diet, causing all of our red blood cells to form long chains. And the biggest problem with that is that each individual red blood cells carries a molecule of oxygen in the middle, and that's how our entire body gets oxygen. Now, when our red blood cells are all stuck together, forming long chains, what happens is that there is no capacity for that red blood cell that is now stuck to another red blood cell. It cannot then carry oxygen. So when our cells are stuck together, the amount of oxygen reaching all of our cells drop. It could, if that was a full block, that would have resulted in a heart attack or a stroke. But these are not full blocks. These are like very partial blocks. But they have the result of some parts of our body, some of our cells not getting the oxygen that they need, not getting the energy that they need, and therefore not being able to function optimally. So when you increase your cellular voltage and that increases the vibration of each cell, it kind of has the effect of your red blood cells now vibrating, having more energy in our blood flow, and therefore the vibration breaks apart your red blood cells and improves your blood flow, which is the same effect that is had by ancient therapeutic modalities of qigong or acupuncture or massage. All of these have an effect of physically manipulating or touching or poking parts of the human body in order to improve your blood flow. But now you can do it remotely through technology using the concept of resonant frequency because our body, as I've shown with those papers, is tuned to terahertz frequency. That is why this is not a medical device. Medical devices are designed to treat or diagnose specific illnesses. Our device does not do that. It follows accepted therapeutic ideas of improving our blood flow in, yes, I am on the disclaimer slide. I am explaining the disclaimer. Thank you, Linda. So as a result of using terahertz frequency to improve our blood flow, we have the same effect that has been had by all modalities of therapeutic, like all forms of therapeutic modalities in the past, of improving your blood flow in order to increase the amount of oxygen availability to all of your cells, thus healing your body from a holistic perspective. Ancient therapists, whether through qigong or massage or acupuncture or or Ayurveda or any other concepts, use physical touch mostly in order to improve that blood flow. Now we've figured out how it works, and by using the ideas of resonant frequency, we're able to use a handheld terahertz emitter to have the same effect, the same therapeutic effect of improving blood flow all over your body. That is why we are not a medical device. We are a therapeutic device. We follow established therapeutic principles of improving your blood flow. And why terahertz frequency? So everything is frequency. I mean, quite literally, the light that we see, like all light that we are able to detect with our eyes, fall under this super narrow range of visible light. Everything that we see, from the heat that we feel on our skin, everything is a form of frequency. All frequencies have different effects. A lot of frequencies are ionizing, meaning they're so powerful that they kind of mess up our cells when they go through it. But we have found that this specific frequency range of zero point 0.1 to 10 terahertz is can pass through non-conducting materials and is non-ionizing, which is why it was used for imaging in the past. But now we are starting to see that because it resonates to our human body is able to use the terahertz frequency, use the energy to increase the body's cellular voltage and its cellular vibrations, and improve your blood flow that way. Now, so these are the technologies within our device. It's a terahertz emitter that uses quantum energy, which is tuned by an optical quartz inside it. There's a quartz inside this. If you drop it and you break it, that's on you. Don't drop it. And this is just a graphic of the idea of cellular voltage, where a normal cell has a certain amount of cellular voltage, and it could be from physical things, it could be from emotional things, even emotional stress, even you being depressed or being in a bad vibe has the effect of reducing your cellular voltage. And as your cellular voltage gets weaker, you start getting inflammation. And as it gets lower and lower and lower, it's what we call bad cells, I suppose, or like, unhealthy cells. But by increasing the cellular voltage, we're able to get the body back to a healthy level. And this is another idea that was explored by Hippocrates of like heating the bones to treat diseases. And one of the things that we know, for example, is that we have differentiated cells in our body. Like our brain has nerve cells, our liver has liver cells, our kidneys are made out of kidney cells. But all of these differentiated cells start off as stem cells, which are just basically undifferentiated cells. These cells are largely produced in our bone marrow, and because terahertz frequency is able to penetrate through the body and it's able to improve blood flow at and around our bones and have that positive effect on the human body, we have found that people who use this device also have a healing effect from the increased production of undifferentiated cells that become the raw material that your body uses to rebuild parts of itself that need to be rebuilt and replaced. And as I'm sure most of you know by now, all cells in the human body die and get replaced. So The iTeraCare devices, they remove blockages in your blood flow, they improve your blood flow, they increase the production of undifferentiated cells, giving your body raw material to work on and heal itself. And if you use the device and you look at the body through a energy sensing Kirlian camera, you can see an energy alignment in the body. Now, maybe you don't see the world from a chakra perspective. I know that I usually do not fundamentally see the world from a chakra perspective. So we can also take a look at the biological effects of the iTeraCare. So now here's the thing. I often equate one session with the iTeraCare to be the blood flow equivalent of going for a walk for an hour or going for a jog for like half an hour or some form of moderate movement. And now you can ask me, hey, why do I need to drop that much dough on a device that is equivalent to going for a long walk? Here's why. So let's take a look at this lady, for example. And here's the thing. When your body starts getting weaker and weaker and weaker from your lifestyle, and your body starts to lose its muscle strength, and your body is no longer capable of easily supporting your body weight, what's going to happen is that when you stand up and you try to walk around, your legs and your back are going to hurt. Now, at this point, you need to go start working out and strengthen your body. But this is a point that a lot of people don't do at this point because, and I don't blame them. It hurts. It hurts. Your body already hurts. And now going to the gym is going to hurt even more. So, what do a lot of people do? They don't move, they don't go to the gym, they just sit down, they plop back down. And if you do that for 4 years, if you do that long enough, you're going to end up like this lady who has had severe pain in her leg and her back, with her body completely not having the strength to support her body weight, and she has to walk around with a crutch. Now, you try telling this lady to go for a walk for an hour each time, twice a day. She's not going to be able to do it, right? But she can use a handheld terahertz emitter to have the same kind of blood flow and oxygen improving effects on the body as going for a walk for an hour each time, twice a day. And when you do that for 10 days in a row, if she was able to go for a walk for an hour each time, twice a day, 10 days in a row, she would have had similar effects. But at that condition, she would not have been able to. But by using a device to have the same effect, after 10 days, that improved blood flow and improved oxygen going to her cells has given her enough physical strength that she's able to support her body weight. Now, look at her. She can't go for a walk. She can't go run a marathon. It's not like her body is like, ooh, magically cured, but we've just given enough oxygenation and enough blood flow through a device that she can now have a better quality of life. And I'm going to rush through some of these examples because I do want to be done in 9 minutes, which is when the meeting is supposed to be over. But looking at the next example, now this might be like, I don't know, think about it. This is a device that improves your blood flow, and if you give it to someone who's in the hospital because of blockages in their blood flow, i.e. they have a stroke, which is a blockage in their blood flow, of course they're going to see faster results and faster improvement. Could this person have seen the same kind of improvement had they gone for a walk for an hour each time, twice a day? Yeah. Would they be able to? Absolutely not. But they can use a device. And in fact, they don't even need to use it. Someone else can use it on them. And by improving their blood flow consistently, by just 10 days of using it, they're able to accelerate their healing from a problem that was caused by improper blood flow. Or look at this lady, for example. She has ascites disease and renal immune disorder. Now, what I know about this, and by looking at her and by reading the description, obviously, is that her abdomen is accumulating fluid. So here's the thing. If your abdomen is accumulating fluid and you go to a doctor, what's he going to do? He's going to use a knife and cut your skin, or he's going to use a needle to poke your skin. But either way, he's going to have to break your skin to get to that fluid inside, right? It's like a balloon, right? You're popping the balloon essentially. But even for someone with this condition, by improving her blood flow externally using a device, because she can't go for a walk twice a day, an hour each time, obviously, but by improving her blood flow using a device, and not just once or twice, this is not like a one time thing, and by doing it consistently every single day for 7 weeks, that improved blood flow and oxygenation of all of her cells, and those new cells being born and the body getting into the point of healing itself, was enough for her body to start expelling all of the accumulated fluid through her belly button. And like I said, had she gone to a doctor, the doctor would have broken the skin. But if the liquid coming out through her belly button, to me, is a sign that this is a natural form of self healing that is happening. And by using it for 3 months in a row, she's pretty much back to normal. Her body is like, ooh, I got energy. I can take care of this now. And starts to take care of itself. Or look at this guy. He has a broken knee for over 2 years, never got it checked, probably hurts like hell to move. So he's been stuck in bed for 2 years because it hurts to move. Obviously, look at his leg. And using and improving his blood flow for just 30 minutes, which, by the way, similarly to that good feeling you get when you come from the gym, and just like the runner's high, all you people who like running know about, improving your blood flow increases endorphins in the body, the feel good chemicals, the pain killing chemicals, or the pain killing neurotransmitters in your brain, and they help you feel good. So by using it for just 30 minutes, he's able to have an effect where he's able to actually stand up in bed, and by using it every day for 2 weeks, for 14 days, and using it consistently every day for 14 days, he's able to go out with his family. Now, look, he's still in a wheelchair. He can't go run a marathon or go for a walk or a jog. His knee is still messed up, but his quality of life has improved enough that for the first time in 2 years, he's able to go out with his family and look at those happy faces on his family members. So what this device provides is such a huge improvement in your quality of life by helping your body get into the process of dealing with its own pain and taking care of its own issues. Or this is another example of this guy who got a COVID vaccine injury. And sometimes it doesn't matter how you get your problem right. Sometimes it doesn't matter how why your body is like now working against you. Sometimes it just does. For this guy, it's because he took a COVID vaccine, and that did not agree with his body at all. After taking it, he wasn't able to walk properly for 17 weeks. His body was breaking out in bruises. He started having all kinds of like I don't know what you call this, spores breaking out next to his lips. But even for someone like him, you- ask this guy who can't even stand to go for a walk for an hour a day, for an hour each time, twice a day. But he can use a device, he can improve his blood flow, and by using it for 3 days and 15 days continuously, that external improvement in his blood flow was enough to reset his body and help his body to go back to normal. And it doesn't matter whether you're a 3-year-old girl, like with this girl, for example, she has meningitis and sepsis. And again, I'm making it very clear. We're not saying that, ooh, the iTeraCare cures meningitis and sepsis. That is not what we are saying. But even for a 3-year-old girl, if you improve her blood flow and you improve the rate, the oxygenation of the body, her blood flow and everything, that is enough to help the body start to heal itself. And this girl, by just using the device for 2 weeks, got such significant improvement in her health that her parents have gave us her photo and have allowed us to use her as a testimonial. And it doesn't matter how young you are or how old you are. And forgive the dramatic title, Dying Old Lady Revived. I get it. It's a bit dramatic. But listen, we're gonna get old someday. We're going to get old. Our body's going to break down in ways that we are nowhere near ready for. And at some point, if we live long enough, some of us could be where she is right now, basically being in bed and being weak. But even if you don't change the engine oil in your car for like 10 years, and I know, and not to use a mechanical example on the human body, but even if you don't change the engine oil in your car for 10 years, if you change it, your car's going to run a bit better. And even at this condition, if you improve her blood flow, you're going to get the blood flowing, you're going to get those endorphins popping, you're going to get an improved quality of life. And it has the same effect whether you use it on your face for your skin beauty, because why do people go for facials? That act of touching your skin and moving it around and massaging it has the effect of like tightening your skin. There's a lot of ideas that's like there's also concepts of like lymphatic massage, where when you massage your body you help to like drain your lymph nodes, and you can have similar effects but now using a device to improve your blood flow. And I am probably gonna get like 5 minutes extra time. I hope you guys are patient enough with me for that, because I want to talk about this. Like right now, there is no medication that can guarantee hair growth, right? We know that. We all know that. However, the problem faced by a lot of people right now is not that they have hair loss, it's that they have premature hair loss. It's that their body has the capacity to support hair growth, but because of a lack of an unhealthy scalp, because of a lack of proper blood flow, oxygen going to the scalp, without maybe from a lack of like hair stem cells to like grow those new hair. There's a lot of reasons why a lot of people are facing premature hair loss. And some people who have used this device to externally improve their blood flow have noticed that when they improve their blood flow, some of the effects that they see also includes a reversal of their premature hair loss. This is not an effect felt by everybody, but if you're facing premature hair loss at a very young age that you know is not because of like that's just your body's capacity to grow hair, you could have similar results as well. And this is the last point I'm going to make, right? And I love giving this example. 500 years ago, if it was nighttime and you wanted light, you you better know how to start a fire, or you need to go to someone who knows how to start a fire. Similarly, in the past, if you want to improve your health by improving your blood flow, then you better know which are the reflexology points or the moves to make and things like that. Or you need to go to a ancient healer, a doctor of those times, to improve your blood flow because they have the specific knowledge. Now, if it's dark, you take a flashlight and you turn on the button, and you flick a switch and you have light. And now in 2023, since 2021, thanks to Prife International and the iTeraCare, now if you want to improve your blood flow, all you got to do is buy a device and flick a switch, and you can have the same effect on your body and on the bodies of the people around you. It is easy to operate. You don't need professional skills or knowledge. Just point the device at your body and use it. Blow on uncomfortable areas, blow all over your body, all over all the parts of your body need it. There are a few things you got to watch out for. For example, if you have high blood pressure, try to avoid blowing on the top of your head, only because if you have normal or low blood pressure and you improve the blood flow at and around your head, it's going to increase your blood pressure a little bit and most people won't feel it. But if you already have high blood pressure and you blow it on the top of your head, then you're going to feel that slight increase in blood pressure, and that could make you feel uncomfortable. That's what we're trying to avoid. If you have anything implanted in your body, like if you have like pacemakers or metal implanted on your body, then don't use the device around those parts. And that comes from an abundance of caution, because anything that is medically, surgically implanted into your body has very narrow working parameters, and we don't want to change anything. We don't want to like get it to distort in any way in shape. We're just like playing it safe, which also applies to our restrictions on pregnant women not using this device, because there could be many reasons for a pregnancy to end unexpectedly. There are many natural reasons for that to happen, and we don't want someone using our device and having that happen and then associating that with improving your blood flow using our device. If you have an open wound, don't use it directly on top of the open wound, but you can use it a little bit afar because all the blood flow in the body is connected, right? So if you have a wound here, don't use it like right here because like the heat and the air coming out is going to dry out the wound, the surface of the wound, and that's going to slow down that specific wound healing. But you can use the device on other parts of your body to improve your blood flow and get those effects on the body as well. Couple other things. The thing with skin conditions, right? And the thing with skin conditions is that if you have a skin condition and you feel itchy, your instinct is to scratch it, right? What happens when you scratch it? You're physically like manipulating or like touching that part of your body, improving that blood flow in that part. But by the nature of you physically moving whatever it, it is that's on top of your skin around, you're kind of making the problem worse. If you break your skin when you're scratching, that slows down the healing of your skin condition. But now, if you have a skin condition, you can get the same kind of relief by using a device to externally improve your blood flow. And because you're not touching it to improve your blood flow for relief from the itchiness, you are able to now accelerate the healing of your skin condition. This device is also fantastic for people with like inflamed joints, etc., or just for general body health. You can find a lot of testimonials. These are just some testimonials I pulled out from one frequency one testimonial group on Facebook. There are many such groups on Facebook. There's testimonials on like Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. Google it, search for it, like find your own truth. And the primary difference between the three devices, and here's where I'm ending my presentation, is that all three devices emit terahertz frequency. All three devices have the same healing effect or have the same effect on the human body that enhances our health. The difference is in why they're made, the concept behind them. The Pro is a device that was designed for like um, use for therapists and in like therapeutic professional context where you're going to be using the device turned on all the time. This device was the original product that our manufacturer put out, and it was designed for like therapists and people using this professionally. After the blowaway success of this device, they then decided to create a device for the home use consumer, and they came out with a classic. And the premium is just like the premium version of the home use version, where this is more ergonomic, it's lighter, it's quieter. For people who like premium products, they can go with the premium. For people who just want the entry level product so they can use it on their body, that's the classic. And if they want the super durable, tough, professional use device, they can get the Pro. Whichever device you get, all devices have passed strict tests for safety, human clinical reports, conformity. This is the guy who invented the first terahertz device in the world, Yang Weng Jun. If you guys are coming to Bangkok next year, you're going to be able to meet him. There's a ton of reports and everything behind this device. And this is where I'm going to end my presentation. So let me summarize. I know I'm 7 minutes over time, but let me summarize. If you have any questions, drop it in the chat and I'll get to it as much as I can. I am not going to drag this on forever, but let me summarize. The human body has always been designed for an active life and constant movement. The movement of our muscles, the expanding and contracting of our muscles, is what kind of like massages that blood. Massages is the wrong word, but you get the idea that that has that effect of improving that blood flow all over your body. And the human body is designed to always be healthy in constant blood flow, in constant active motion, pushing blood all over your body. When we came into a sedentary life with the invention of civilization and agriculture, that's where we started to see the effects of that sedentary lifestyle, leading into leading into essentially the need for ancient healers who used various therapeutic modalities to improve the blood flow in the human body in order to get that oxygen and blood flowing again and get that body to go back to its optimum health condition. In the modern age, we have also stepped a lot further away from that and coming into very sedentary lifestyles, thus causing the main killers of the human being to be just like diseases of the modern age, as we call them. Modern medicine uses like chemicals or artificially or synthetically created compounds in order to have certain effects on the human body that, even though they may not be well understood, can be sold for profit. Ancient healers and all kinds of therapeutic people who were the doctors of their time continued to use these therapeutic modalities and frequencies and energy and different kinds of movement to improve blood flow. Now we have learned how to do that by taking advantage of resonant frequency, understanding that the body resonates to terahertz frequency, understanding that each cell, due to the ionic difference in the interior and exterior of the cell, carries a cellular charge, a certain voltage, and we are able to use these concepts to create a handheld terahertz emitter that shines terahertz frequency on the human body, and therefore, through the concept of resonant frequency, having the direct effect of increasing our cellular voltage, which increases cellular vibration, which breaks apart red blood cells that are stuck together and improve the flow of blood externally in the body. Using the device one time is equivalent to like going for a walk or going to like the gym one time. And if you want to lose weight or if you want to be healthy, it is not enough for you to go for a walk or go to the gym one time. If you go to an acupuncture healer or a massage therapist, they're not going to be able to heal you one time. All forms of improvements of blood flow need to be consistent over and over again in order for it to have the accumulated effect of your body's self-healing capacity kicking in. And similarly, by using this device consistently over and over again, is how we have seen all the testimonials that I have shown you in this call. That's how we see all the testimonials that you find online, on Facebook, on TikTok, etc. This is a therapeutic device that uses therapeutic concepts to create an overall improvement in the health and condition of the human body. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the iTeraCare device, the original handheld terahertz emitter created by Deshang and marketed exclusively by Prife International. That is the company that you're in. This is the device that you're selling, and or this is the device that you're considering buying, maybe. And a lot of people who look at the world from different perspectives may use different words to explain what's happening. Like if you talk to a traditional Chinese medicine expert, they're going to talk about this in terms of like meridians and like yin and yang energy. If you talk to reflexology experts, they're going to talk about it in using certain terminology. But fundamentally, this is how the device has a biological effect on the human body. And now I've come to the end of my presentation. Thank you everyone for patiently listening in, even though I have gone like 12 minutes over time. For to find out how to purchase this device, please go to the person who sent you this link. The person who sent you this link is the person who's going to be able to help you get the device and show you how to use it. And I hope you start using the device. And if you already have it, I hope you start using it consistently, because it is consistent use that has that effect on the human body that we're all looking for. And since there are no questions in the chat for me to answer, I am going to use this opportunity to end my presentation. This presentation is recorded and will be out on YouTube probably in a couple of days. Ask the person who sent you this link for ask the person who sent you this link for the recording of the link when it's out, for the link of the recording when it's out, and come back again next Thursday. I hope our CTO Nathan or Faithlin would be back, and they would be kicking this off as well. And in the meantime, signing off. My name is Mugi. I'm in marketing at Price International HQ. Price International, by the way, is the sole global distributor of the original handheld terahertz emitter, the iTeraCare. You can find like knockoffs on Shopee because like everyone wants to knock off something that works. But if it doesn't if it doesn't emit terahertz frequency, it's not going to have the effect. And you want to get the original because you want to guarantee that you have the original terahertz emitter that actually does emit terahertz frequency through testing, because this is not something that you can see with your naked eye. Anyway, that's all from me. Goodbye, everybody. Have a great night. Bye.